Welcome to Tossin the Pigskin. I'm your host, Nate Smith. Today, we will discuss all the latest NFL news. Week 2 is officially in the books, and we will preview this weekend's best battles. We have reactions from Rams 49ers, and as always, we have the best fantasy advice around. Let's go! We're going to kick it off with a little Thursday night breakdown. Last season, the Rams and 49ers combined for 6 total wins. But on Thursday night, they combined for 80 points. First-year head coaches Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan both had their offenses rolling in what was arguably the most exciting game of this season so far. The Rams took the W 41-39. After the slop fest between Houston and Cincinnati last Thursday, this game was a pleasant surprise. Defenses on both sides need improvements, but the offenses were well-oiled machines. The game ball belongs to Todd Gurley. He gave the Niners defense fits all night, scoring 3 times in the first half. Regardless of who you root for, this game was great for the NFL. For the first time this season, I watched a contest that was entertaining from start to finish. It's no secret that there has been a lack of quality football thus far through 2 weeks. Maybe the NFL just needed a couple games to get warmed up. If last night was any indication of what's to come this season, I can't wait. Alrighty, let's get things started here on Tossin the Pigskin. I'm joined alongside Ben Vernon and Vinny Asito. So guys, every year after the 2-week mark, you have the marginalized teams. You got the 2-0 and you have the 0-2. So we'll start with 2-0. Vinny, who's the best team right now that's 2-0?
I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. We all know their defense is for real, but so far, Trevor Siemian, he's looking like the real deal. He's playing some good, safe football, taking care of the football, and if he can stay heated up, I think Denver can be dangerous this year.
Ben, who's your pick for best 2-0 team?
So it's also going to be a team from the AFC West. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. They walked into Gillette Stadium for the NFL opener, and they crushed the Patriots.
They did.
And also, Kareem Hunt is leading the league in rushing yards with 229. So they have a great offense going, and their defense, Justin Houston, is a runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year right now. So. That's
all right.
Cool.
For me, I got to go the Atlanta Falcons, or as some might call it, Hotlanta right now, because those boys are rolling. I mean, Matt Ryan looking like the MVP he was last season. Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman. They have weapons everywhere offensively. Everyone knew this. The question was defensively, were they able to improve? Were they able to take that next step from last year? Well, their defense was serviceable. And I think through 2 games, we've really seen that defense step up. Yeah. Against Green Bay last week on Sunday night, after 3 quarters, the Packers had 10 points. I mean, I know it was in their new stadium, in that nice dome they got over there in Atlanta, but if you have a defense that can play that well, they're known for their speed, and if they can keep that up and keep that offense obviously scoring points, I got to have Atlanta as a Super Bowl favorite right now. So for me, that's the best 2-0 team. All right, switching gears a little bit, or a lot, I should say. 0-2. Ben, who's your worst 0-2 team right now?
So it's actually a team from Ohio, and it's not the Cleveland Browns, it's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
They started off really badly this year. They fired their offensive coordinator on Friday, actually. It hasn't been clicking, the offense. Andy Dalton hasn't thrown 1 touchdown yet.
They haven't scored a touchdown
at all. They haven't scored a touchdown
yet,
no. So I'm just saying I'm looking forward to their next game, but until then, they're the worst team for me.
Vinny, how about you?
I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
I mean, it's safe to say they need Andrew Luck back there.
Badly.
Jacoby Brissett, Scott Tolzien, those are just not names that are going to get the job done.
No, sir.
And they have weapons. They have T.Y. Hilton. They have Jack Doyle, their tight end, Frank Gore. So they need Luck back, and without him, they're not going to win.
Yeah, I mean, just on a personal note for me, have T.Y. Hilton in one of my fantasy leagues. Hasn't been good so far. Led the league in receiving last year, but just goes to show if you don't have that quarterback back there, you're in trouble as a receiver. All right, for me, I got to go the New York Jets. I mean, they have just been abominable. Yeah. They are a poorly run franchise at the moment. Anytime you have Josh McCown as your day 1 starter, something's not right. So for New York, I just think they got to figure a lot of things out, starting with quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league. If you don't have an elite quarterback, a guy you can trust game after game, you won't win. It's that simple. What's funny is they're known for their defense the past few years, but so far after 2 games, they're 28th in yards allowed. So really nothing's going right in New York right now. So that's my pick for worst 0-2 team.
It's not just the Jets either in New York. I mean,
no
one brought them up. But
well, because everyone knows the Giants have potential. They just hasn't started out the way they wanted to, obviously.
Out, yeah.
Alrighty, after the break, we'll get to some predictions from this week's games. Stay tuned. Welcome back in here to Tossin the Pigskin. Now we'll take a look at this weekend's slated games. We'll start with the morning slate, as we always do. First one, we got Atlanta at Detroit. Vinny, who you like in this one?
Well, I think this is going to be a very, very good game. Detroit is the home team, though, so I'm going to take Stafford and the Lions. They just had a big win going into New York and beating the Giants on Monday Night Football. And the biggest question in Atlanta is that defense, as we talked about earlier, especially their secondary. I think Stafford slings the ball. They come away with the win.
Ben, how about you?
I'm going to have to go opposite. I think Atlanta takes this one because Matt Ryan has too many weapons, and there's no sight of a Super Bowl hangover over here. So I'm going to take Atlanta.
Yeah, piggybacking off that, I also have Atlanta for my picks. Just the offense has been rolling. And it will be interesting to see, though, in Detroit if that defense can do what they did against Green Bay. You know, it's a whole other story when you're playing on the road, so that's something to watch out for. All right, next game we got here, New York at Philadelphia. Ben, who are you liking this one?
I'm going to say the New York Giants.
Okay.
I'm going to go off a limb. I know the Eagles have been playing very well, but the Giants are a desperate team right now, and desperate teams mean they become.
Keep going, you're good.
Desperate teams mean they become dangerous. So, yeah.
Vinny, how about you?
I'm going to have to agree. 2 words, must win. I mean, the Giants need to figure something out. Going into Philly, I normally would not pick them, but they got to figure something out. And Odell Beckham, got to get the team rolling. Eli Manning, that offensive line. I think the Giants find a way to squeak one out.
Yeah, I'm normally not big on must-wins this early in the season especially, but I have to agree with you. If they don't win, they are toast.
And they're in
especially
Tampa
in that
next
division.
week, so.
Yeah, as you mentioned, in Tampa next week. I actually have Philly in this game. I do think New York will come out with a lot of intensity, and you know they're playing for their lives right now. But I just think Philly's too good. The matchups for the Giants are horrible. I mean, that offensive line against that D-line from Philly, you got Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. I think Eli might be waking up sore Monday, so we'll have to see. But moving on here to the afternoon slate, we have Seattle at Tennessee. Vin, who you like in this one?
I'm taking Tennessee. Seattle has just not been Seattle this year, especially offensively. Just haven't been able to click really yet. Russell Wilson, he's playing well, taking care of the ball, but they're not putting up points. And Tennessee has a tough defense. They're the home team. I think they come away with the win.
Yeah, well, the Titans are home, so that's an advantage, and they struggled against the 49ers, so I'm going to have to pick Titans on this one.
Yeah, looks like we got a sweep here, guys. I'm going Tennessee as well. Moving on here, we have Oakland at Washington. It's actually the Sunday night game. Ben, who are you liking this one?
I'm just going to say Oakland. Derek Carr is looking really good, and Marshawn Lynch has a great run game, so I'm just going to say the Raiders. I don't see the Washington Redskins pulling this one out.
Yeah. Ben?
I'm taking Oakland as well. Carr, Cooper, Crabtree, 3 C's over there. I think it's going to be too much for Washington. And Josh Norman, he is questionable, something to keep an eye on. If he's not playing, I think that offense lights up.
Yeah, as you mentioned, though, even if he is playing, I just think the Raiders have too many weapons offensively for the Redskins to contain. I have Oakland as well. Moving to Monday night, right here in Phoenix, we have Dallas at Arizona. Vinny, who are you like in this one?
I'm taking the Cardinals. I think they're going to surprise some people here. Dallas is one of those teams that does not come to Arizona often. It's a Monday night game, big primetime matchup. I think Arizona comes out and they upset the Cowboys.
I'm going to have to go with Dallas on this one. They don't have David Johnson or John Brown, so I don't see them pulling this one out. And Carson really struggled with the Colts, and they have one of the worst defenses. So I see Dallas taking this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, Ben. I like Dallas in this one. I just think after getting smacked last week by the Broncos, just played horribly in every facet of the game. I think Dak Prescott, I think Ezekiel Elliott, that offensive line, I think they're pissed off, and I think they're going to come in to a Cardinals team that is solid on defense. You know, that's their strength is defensively, but I just think, honestly, the Cowboys might manhandle this one. I'm giving them at least a 10-point cushion for the win with potential to go higher, so we'll see when the game happens, but I'm taking Dallas in this one. Alrighty, after the break, we will talk some fantasy football. Keep it here. Welcome back in here to Tossin the Pigskin. It's about that time. We're talking some fantasy. We'll kick things off here with Ben. We'll start it with the stardoms. Who do you like to start this week?
I'm saying Christian McCaffrey. He should be more involved with the passing game because of Greg Olson's injury, and New Orleans' defense is ranked 32nd. So I see Christian McCaffrey lighting him up.
Yeah, that's a good point. New Orleans' defense is horrible. For me, my stardom's got to be Jay Ajayi, Dolphins running back, going up against the New York Jets, who are dead last in rushing yards allowed. Last week, he had a ton of carries against the Chargers. I think the J train keeps rolling this week. Vin, who you like?
I'm staying in Miami, actually, taking Jarvis Landry. first game of the season last week, 13 receptions. So clearly Jay Cutler likes him over there, and especially if we're talking PPR, he's a PPR machine.
He's a reception machine. Yep,
you're starting
exactly
Landry
right
this week.
All right, for Siddums, I have Lamar Miller, Houston Texans running back. Going to New England, I don't care what offense you are, most are going to struggle over there, especially with their situation with Deshaun Watson as a rookie quarterback. I see defensive coordinator Matt Patricia just focusing in on Lamar Miller, taking away the run. So you got to sit Lamar this week. Vin, who do you like to sit?
Stephon Diggs out of Minnesota. No Sam Bradford again.
Again, yeah.
So Case Keenum's throwing him the ball. Clearly didn't work last week. Only had 2 catches. So Stephon Diggs, I'm sitting this week.
I'm going to say LaShawn McCoy at the Denver Broncos because they held Ezekiel Elliott to 8 yards. And I just think LaShawn McCoy will not be able to rush. And also, he had a pretty bad game at Carolina last week. So
yeah, I noticed that matchup when I was looking at my fantasy earlier this week. So that'll be interesting to see if they can shut down 2 elite running backs in a row. It'd be a good test for that defense. All right, sleepers. Vinny, who's a sleeper this week?
I'm taking Javorius Allen out of Baltimore. Ever since Danny Woodhead got hurt week 1, he's kind of taken over that role. So he's been getting more carries, and out of the backfield, he's been a weapon. So he's my sleeper this week.
Yeah, it's kind of him and Terrence West battling for that spot, but you're right. He did look good last week. Ben, who you like for a sleeper this week?
I'm going into New York. I'm saying Jermaine Kearse against the Miami Dolphins. The reason why I'm saying this is he has a team high in targets, touchdowns, and receptions, and I just think he can produce a lot. And he leads the Jets. So.
Yeah, I mean, that Jets offense is terrible, but they got to throw to somebody,
exactly,
so I guess he's the guy. For me, we're going all the way to London, out of America. I got Leonard Fournette in the early morning game against Baltimore. Now, Baltimore does have a solid defense, and they started the year off well defensively. They're ranked 12th in rushing yards allowed, but I just love Fournette. I think he's a beast. That Jags O-line has actually been serviceable up to this point, so we'll see if they can handle that Baltimore defensive front. But if Blake Bortles can even be halfway competent throwing the ball, Fournette's going to find a lane. So that'll be something to keep the eye on. But I like Fournette as a sleeper this week.
I agree.
All right, that'll just about do it for us, folks, here at Coast to Coast Sports. Thanks for joining us on Tossin the Pigskin. I'm Nate Smith alongside Ben Vernon and Vinny Asito. Thanks for watching and have a superb weekend.